The following address was delivered by Charles Sanford at the 2007 Project 2019 Annual Conference. A tribute to Mileka Aljuwani.
For those of you who have attended some or all of the previous Project 2019 banquets, I want you to give me about 30 seconds to let everybody else catch up. First of all, my remarks are usually inspired by some event that occurred during the weeks leading up to this banquet. And sadly, it's often a senseless tragedy that usually happens to some black person or some black family. Last year, my remarks were inspired by the senseless shooting deaths of Keisha Reed and Saritha White in the Inglewood neighborhood. I don't remember what it was the year before last, but I don't think it matters. There's always some senseless, tragic event that's happening to black folks somewhere. The second thing that you should know about my remarks is that I do not choose unhappy news to talk about because I want to. I do it because I feel that I have to. I do it because I believe that we must find a way to understand how broken America is and how we need to fix it. And finally, you should know that whatever the subject matter of my presentation, my goal is not to depress or to shame or to cajole anyone into supporting Project 2019. My goal is simply to inspire you to do something, to inspire you to do a little bit more, to repay the debt that we owe to our ancestors, and to ensure a better future for our descendants. So given these criteria, needless to say, I had a lot of choices of newsworthy events on which to base my remarks. An obvious choice might have been disc jockey Don Imus referring to the Rutgers women's basketball team as nappy-headed hoes. Now, in the words of one of the wisest women that I know, my mother Lucinda Acker, what do you expect from some old white man? They have been calling us nappy-headed hoes since we have been in America. What is truly offensive is that we call each other bitches, hoes, and niggers. Another possible topic for my remarks was the senseless killing of the 32 students and faculty members at Virginia Tech. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all those affected by this despicable act. But it's worth noting that even in the face of this tragedy and other school shootings, a young black man being on a college campus is still many times safer than hanging out on street corners in many of our black communities. And then there is hip-hop's commercialization and glorification of black folks not cooperating or even talking to the police about crimes committed in our own black communities, real crimes like robbery, rape, and murder. The catchphrase is stop snitching. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Stop snitching. And they're writing songs and making videos about it. If you look, you will find the slogans on CD covers, on websites, and even t-shirts. And I can't get people to wear Project 2019 t-shirts. It's all about so-called street credibility, which as a hip-hop artist you must have if you're going to sell CDs. People know who killed Tupac Shakur. People know who killed Notorious B.I.G. and Busta Rhymes and 25 other people saw who killed Israel Ramirez. And Little Kim, quote, went to prison with her mouth shut and her head held high, rather than to tell the truth about a shootout that she witnessed. And now Cameron Giles, a.k.a. Killer Cam, who refuses to identify who shot him, has a hit song based on his accusation that 50 Cent is a snitch who is cooperating with the police. Now, to be honest with you, I had to kind of go through that information a couple of times because I pretty much don't know who some of these folks are. But I certainly understand what the message is. And for as insane as this might sound to us, it would not be nearly as tragic if it were not for the fact that these hip-hop artists are attempting to convince our children that they should not snitch on the person that they saw robbing someone's house, or the person they saw kill a child in a drive-by shooting, or even the person they know raped their next-door neighbor's daughter. In any case, there were many possible themes for my remarks this evening, but in the end I knew that the inspiration for my remarks had been decided on August 20th of last year. That was the day that Mileka Aljuwani died of breast cancer.
Yes.
Mileka was the National Executive Director of Project 2019, and Mileka was my friend. Mileka believed in Project 2019, in fact, perhaps with perhaps with me being the sole exception, Mileka believed in Project 2019 more so than anyone else in the world. Now, I know that's a strong statement to make in light of the support of Project 2019 by my family, my friends, and all of you here this evening, and it is an extraordinary statement to make considering the woman that I'm married to. And for those of you who you think know how much Rose Sanford has sacrificed for Project 2019, you should probably double your estimate. And we thank you, Rose. Rose believes in Project 2019 as fervently as I do, but a part of the reason for her sacrifice is that she also believes in me, and for this I'm truly blessed. And also, probably, about 50-60% of the time, you kind of love me a little bit. In any case, Mileka's only reason for her sacrifices was because of her belief in Project 2019. But let me be clear, it was not just about Project 2019. It was her desire for justice for her people. It was her hope for her people. It was her faith that her people could and would overcome. For these reasons, I made a deathbed promise to Mileka, and I will do everything in my power to keep that promise. I'm going to tell you about that promise in just a second, but first let me tell you a few things about Mileka Aljuwani. Her obituary contains the following information. Mileka was born on May 8, 1957 to Sahara and Wahid Aljuwani in Buffalo, New York. Mileka received her formal education at Bennett High School in Buffalo, New York, and furthered her education at Howard University, obtaining a BA in pharmacy and accounting. Mileka was the National Executive Director of Project 2019. In her leisure time, she enjoyed writing and painting. She was active in the following organizations, among others: Project 2019, National Black United Front, NCOBRA, Black Chamber of Commerce, Black Business Alliance, New Black Panther Party, LLC, the Angela Davis Cop Watch. She worked with the Million Women's March, the Million Youth March, and the Million Family March. Mileka was a founder of the Blacks for Responsible Government. Now, that was the official list, as her friends from Milwaukee can attest to.
Yes, I can.
The fact is that it did not matter who, what, when, or how. If she could help one black person, man, woman, or child, Mileka was there. A tribute to Mileka that appeared in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel began as follows. 13 years ago, a human whirlwind blew into Milwaukee, determined to shake things up for the better. Her name was Mileka Aljuwani. Passionately, steadfastly, she began working on all kinds of justice issues, especially anything to do with education and economic development. Mileka was extraordinarily passionate, said Ellen Bravo, now with the Women's Studies Department at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. She took seriously the issues of justice and equality. People were never just tokens or statistics to her. They were always real people. Whenever there was an issue, you look up and she was there, said her brother Shakur Aljuwani. Mileka died of breast cancer on Sunday. She was 49 years old. And by the way, her brother Shakur went to New Orleans right after Hurricane Katrina hit, and he's been there ever since. It runs in the family. And finally, here is part of the tribute that I delivered at Mileka's funeral.
This concludes part 1 of 2 of the keynote address by Charles Sanford at the 2007 Project 2019 Annual Conference.